Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about deploying a serverless app with GitHub Actions and AWS SAM. So here these are the topics which we are going to discuss now. First one is the introduction and then prerequisites and then installing dependencies and then setting up the serverless applications. These are those steps like initializing a new AWS SAM project, build and test application locally, setting up CI/CD pipeline to build and test on GitHub and deploy to AWS, configuring GitHub secrets, commit and push changes, and check the GitHub actions. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss. So here you can see this is the workflow which we are going to follow. So here first one is the developer workflow. So a developer writes and commits code to a GitHub repository, and then GitHub Actions automates the CI/CD pipeline, building, testing, and deploying the serverless application. And then AWS cloud deployment will be done. So here the deployment is managed using AWS Serverless Application model, which is AWS SAM. It simplifies serverless application development and deployment. So AWS SAM deploys the application to different AWS services. Like here you can see API Gateway, S3 bucket, AWS Lambda, and other AWS resources. So here API Gateway routes incoming HTTP requests to AWS Lambda, and the AWS Lambda executes the serverless function when triggered by API Gateway. Here S3 bucket stores static assets or application data. So other AWS resources are additional services required for the application. So in the end, users access the deployed application via this endpoint URL exposed by API gateway. And then API gateway invokes the Lambda function, processes requests and response to users. So first, if we see the intro, in this video, we will walk through the process of building a serverless application using AWS SAM and setting up a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions. So here AWS SAM will generate a CI/CD pipeline here. So we learn how to streamline your development workflow by automating deployments, ensuring your serverless applications are built, tested, and deployed efficiently. Whether you are new to serverless architecture or looking to optimize your CI/CD pipeline, this video will provide the step-by-step instruction to get you up and running quickly. So let's dive into creating a seamless automated deployment pipeline for your serverless application. So here, if you check the prerequisites, we need a AWS account, AWS CLI, AWS SAM CLI, a GitHub account, Git, Docker, and basic knowledge of AWS Lambda and GitHub Actions. So first, if we'll install the required dependencies. So first we'll install the Docker. So let's wait for the Docker to install. So here Docker is installed. So now we will install the unzip and then AWS CLI. So now we will install the AWS CLI by using these commands. So here AWS CLI is installed. Now let's configure the two profiles which are developers and prods. So now let's use the AWS configure for the developer profile first. So here, let's configure the AWS credentials for the profile called as dev. So here, I have the access key and secret keys here. So for the dev, so this is the secret key. I'll give the region as AP South 1. And I'll give the output format as table. So now I'll configure for the prod also. So here, I'll give the access key here. And then the secret key. And then the region as AP South 1. And then the table format. So now both are done. So I have configured the AWS CLI with two profiles which are dev and prod. Now I'll install the AWS SAM CLI. For that, I'll use these commands. So here AWS SAM CLI is installed. So now we'll set the serverless application. So in the step 1, we'll initialize a new AWS SAM project. So for that, I'll create a repository in the GitHub first. So and then I'll clone it to my local. So I'll give the name as AWS SAM. And then I'll click on create repository. Here I'll clone this application. So now I'll go to this directory. So now I created a fresh repository now. So now I'll use the command which is called as SAM init. So here we have to select some options here. So I'll go for the one which is AWS Quick Start template. I'll go for the Hello World example program. So I'll select one. Now here it is asking to use the most popular runtime and package time. So I'll use S. And now I'll select no here. Oh. So now it is asking the project name as SAMApp. So I'll press on enter. So now our application is created. If we check here, so here you can see our application is created. Now we'll build and test the application locally. So for that, I'll use this command. So now it is building the image, and then we'll get the output now. So here you can see got the output as hello world. I think we got a error here. So now we'll set up the CI/CD pipeline. So for that, we'll use this command. Sure, I'll select one. Here we'll go for the GitHub Actions. So I'll select 3. So we have to click on Y. So I'll give the stage 1 name as dev. So here I have to select this one, dev. So I'll select 2. So it is asking for the region. I'll select the AP South one. So here I'll go for the IAM. So click enter for these things. So here I'll select no. So this is the summary. Now click enter to create it. Click on Y, which is this. So here we have to wait for some time. So if we check here, here you can see the dev stack is create in progress. So it will be created in some time. We have to wait for that now. So after this, we'll also create the prod. Will take some time. So we have to wait. So the stack creation is completed. Now it is asking to stage setup process. So click on yes. So it's asking for the stage 2 name. So here I'll give it as prod. So here we have to select prod. So I'll select 3 here. So it's asking for region. I'll go for the AP South one. Sure, click on enter for these things. So here I'll select no. So this is the summary here. So I'll click on enter. Now click on yes and enter. Now here another stack will be created. Here you can see the prod pipeline resources are being created. So let's wait for some time. So this will also take some time. So we have to wait for that. So here we got an access key and secret keys here for our application. So in this meantime, I'll use these keys here. Otherwise, I'll just note it. Also the secret key. We have to use these access and secret keys in the GitHub repository. So let's note it down. So it is done. So here just click on enter for these things. So it is asking the file path for the template.yml. So here our app name is SAM app. So I'll give the SAM app, and in that the path will be template.yml. So after giving this, click on enter. So first we have to select the stage one, which is dev. So I'll select one here. So I'll give the name as SAM app dev. So now it's asking for the stage two. So I'll select the prod. Here I'll give the name as SAM app prod. So with these names, our stacks will be created. So now everything is done. Our pipeline is also configured. So if you can see here, an IAM user also here created here. So if you check, here you can see a new IAM user is being created. So here I'll give the required permissions for our pipeline. So for now, I'll give the administration access here. So click on add permissions. So I gave the permissions for the newly created IAM user here. For now, let's configure the GitHub secrets now. So in the GitHub repository, go to settings. In this, go to secrets and variables and then actions. So new repository secret. So here I'll give it as AWS access key ID. So here I already noted. So now I'll just copy this and paste it here. And also I'll give the secret key. So I'll give the secret key here. So after giving this, I'll push the code. So here I configure the GitHub secrets. Now let's commit and push the changes. So before that, I'll do one thing. So in this, if you go to the .github and workflow, pipeline. So this is the newly created pipeline code. So here you can see some errors like 2 stars here, and also some things are wrong here. So here in the place of this, I'll use my pipeline code. So here I have my pipeline code here. So I'll copy and paste this pipeline code here. So after giving this, I'll just save. Now you can see everything is done. Now I'll push the code to the repository. So I'll give the token here, my GitHub token. So the code is pushed to GitHub. So here you can see. So if you go to the actions, the workflow is already started. So this is the pipeline. Here you can see. So the test is being running here. So test is done. Now build and package will be done. So it will take some time. We have to wait for that. So here you can check all the things. Here build and package is done. Now it will be deployed to the testing. Here you can see the artifacts are built. So these are sent to the S3 bucket. So let's wait for the deploy testing. It will mostly take like 1 to 1.5 minutes. So we have to wait for that. So here deploy to testing is done. Now integration test is running now. So it is checking both front end and back end. So let's wait for that. So test is also done. Now it is deploying the application to the production. So let's wait for that. It's almost done now. So here you can see it is deployed to production. So if you check here, our pipeline is completed. So artifacts also created. Now if you go to this, and here we got a link to see the application. So here, wait a second. So here you can see we got the link. If you click on that link, our application will be see. So here you can see this is application. So hello world. So this is how it works. So these are all the things. So if you go to the AWS account, so here if you go to the cloud formation and then stacks, here you can see more two stacks are created, which are dev and prod. So here, if we check the three, so here check the time and today's date, or select 142. Some artifacts are created. So this is one, and then here you can see, and this is also one. So here two artifacts are created. So now if you go to the API gateway, you can see two API gateways are created, which are dev and prod. So if you can see in this also. So you can see this is the message. So if you go to the Lambda, here you can see Lambdas also created, which are dev and prod. So if you check the prod, so here you can see API gateway is connected to this. So we can also see the code source here. So here you can see the language we used is Python, which is 3.13, which is the latest one. So it's still loading code source. So here you can see. So this is our application, which is my message. So it says hello world. So these are the things which are created by using the serverless, like AWS serverless model. So now, so we check the GitHub Actions also. So now in the conclusion, we successfully built a serverless application with AWS SAM and automated deployments using GitHub Actions. The setup simplifies deployments, improves efficiency, and ensures seamless updates. Enhance it further with monitoring, security, and best practices for a robust CI/CD pipeline. So this is about deploying a serverless app with GitHub Actions and AWS SAM. So that's it for today. So yeah, thank you.